Just gonna see if you get to the intro. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
We're already recording.
We're already recording, you dick. I hate you so much.
I can start it over.
Anyway,
if you want.
whatever. We'll just go from here. All right. I'm Alec.
I'm Johnny.
And
John is missing.
I know John is still missing. He's still saving the world out there.
Is he still in Puerto Rico?
I don't know where he's at. He's saving the world, so he's listening. He's probably listening to this. He's saving the world. Anyway, this is episode 6.
Sure.
I believe.
Yeah,
because we have 4 on. Yeah, this is episode 6 of Not So Roaring 20s podcast. You guys already know who's listening. We're on YouTube. Just subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, a like, or anything like that. You see, I'm becoming a YouTuber right now.
All we need is those pop toys and
exactly. All we need is those pop toys and some girls with some cleavage, and man, we got a thumbnail going. Anyway, today's episode, it'd be kind of controversial. I would call it controversial.
Why would it be controversial?
Well, because I mean, people who listen, for all we know, could be on the opposite side of what we believe in.
Do you? I don't know any Republicans.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Well, Republicans. This is a politics episode, so there's been a lot, especially this week. The week of. This is what, the first week of November? Or second week of November?
It's the week of the midterms.
Yep, week of the midterms. And also, side note, there was a shooting that happened yesterday.
In Thousand Oaks.
Yep,
the third safest city in the America.
Yeah.
United States.
They said the worst crimes they really got that made, like, front page was cars getting broken into.
Yeah, I used to do that over there.
I mean, I used to do that, too. I used to steal. That was my spot, but I can't do it anymore. Anyway, that's a joke.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not a criminal. Just
I've never been.
Listen. Yeah, don't demonetize us. Yeah, YouTube. We just started. Anyway, so yeah, we're just talking about politics, everything politics in this episode. I feel bad because John's not here because he is the most political savvy out of all of us.
Yeah, but he does know quite a bit.
He does know a lot, but you know
I know more. No,
you know the right stuff.
I know the right stuff. Now let me tell you about. No, never mind. I was gonna say something really racist.
Yeah, I do. Sorry. Okay, let's start there. I guess from everyone who listened, we're both left.
Oh yeah.
You're more left than I am. I know that for sure. You're very far left. I'm left, but not like very far left.
So if you broke left down, you would have liberals, which are like the center left, like, Democrats.
Yeah.
Those would be liberals. Liberals are basically people who are, socially liberal. They might be slightly economically liberal, but they still really like capitalism, and they'll like vouch for it, and like they want it to continue. They want to fix capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
So people on the far left, so socialists, communists, anarchists, Marxists, Maoists, I forgot all the Leninists, Trotskyists.
Isn't Leninist, Trotskyist, and like Marxist kind of all similar?
Yeah, they all kind of fall under Marxism.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyways,
so
I know you fall the far left, right?
I would consider myself socialist.
Yeah.
But I don't think communism is that bad either.
I don't think it's that bad.
Well, communism is basically what, if you ever seen any of the Star Trek, that they live in a communist society. A society
I never
with
watched
like
Star Trek, so I don't
with
know.
like it's like there's no money, there's no property. It's basically a utopian like view. And I don't think we'd ever see something that like idyllic.
No, exactly.
In our lifetime. So in theory, yeah, maybe someday down the road. Mm-hmm. Several centuries from now, it might work.
Something happened in the world that's gone to shit that has that happen.
Well, in order for it to happen, you need abundance, or else because it won't work. Like socialism is for like when resources are scarce in a way, and communism is for when resources are abundant. I'm sorry, we went completely off the.
Well, no, but like we were saying there, communism, it could have worked, or it can work, but it seems like every country that has a bad example was because of one leader. Right?
Well, I mean, China and Russia and North Korea are they called themselves at one point communist countries, but if you actually looked at it, they weren't really.
They were really almost, I would say, fascist, right?
Yeah, they were like authoritarian. I mean, if you there's one oh god, his name is Zizek. He's this.
It's my boy.
Yeah, he's like this. I think he's from like Poland or something. But he was he grew up and he was a communist scholar in the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union would always tamp down on the people who would be like, yeah, like, let's make everything equal. And they would be like, yeah, no, that's not really why we did this. Like, it was never to, there was always an elite. And in communism, there's not supposed to be an elite.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's
a utopian. I don't think it would ever work.
No.
Because I don't think any utopian idea would ever work.
Could ever work. Because eventually we'll fall down. But like I was going to say...
Well, it means that we have to be perfect, and humans aren't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why socialism is the way to go.
I was going to say with that communism thing is because you see people on the far left, like some Antifa people and all that, they have like the communist like flag and like with a sickle and everything. And
I always get very cringy when I see that.
Exactly, because I'm thinking to myself, you're holding a flag.
Not the best example.
Exactly, you're holding a flag of a person of a country that killed like 50 million people. That's not the person you want to be. That's why people on the right always give people on the left shit, because they do stupid shit like that. And then vice versa.
I mean, there are people on the left who'd be like, "Oh yeah, Stalin did nothing wrong,"
which is crazy.
I mean, on the left we call them the tankies.
Yeah,
because they were because they were really into like the Soviet military, and they were like they did nothing wrong, which is
boggles my mind.
Yeah, but that's not the majority of the left, and
I know.
those groups are normally ostracized even within the left, even by like socialist groups and other even communist groups. But anyway.
Well, okay, since you brought up midterms before,
what
do you think of the midterm elections? Like, what do you think
of it? They were...
Were you happy? Were you kind of like, not as good as I thought, but something? Or were you like...
They were definitely not as good as I hoped, which... I mean, on the day, I was kind of dejected, even though Democrats got the House.
I was very surprised by some of the places they got houses at.
Yeah, that was
really
actually...
surprised.
I hoped for more, but those were kind of heartening.
Yeah,
I mean, Democrats got the governorship in like Wisconsin, and I think it was Iowa.
They got House in Ohio. They got governorship and House in Iowa. Though Iowa has in the past been a blue state because they voted for Obama.
Yeah,
it's just this year over last election they voted for Clinton. But Wisconsin has flip-flopped, and Ohio has flip-flopped.
Well, yeah, they're the... Yeah. What are those called? God, I forgot the name. The... Swing states. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And I think Michigan, they even won a House part there. They didn't win the state, but they won a House there.
Yeah.
And
Kansas as well.
Kansas too, yeah. So that's what's funny about it is that, and I saw they were talking about this on the news, there's got to be something for Trump to think about because he's losing the Midwest.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only reason he got it was because people thought, I mean, if you look at places in the country that are suffering, of course there are places out in LA that are suffering, there are neighborhoods out there, communities out there, but, in the middle of the country where a lot of the jobs have gone and where, the opioid epidemic is the most virulent, I guess, or the most impacting, that's why they switched over.
Yeah.
Because they wanted something, whatever you say about Hillary Clinton, I think her campaign didn't offer change. It offered, like, if you like Obamacare, you can keep it. If you like this, you can do that. And you know what? Any sane person should have been like, okay, but
most people, like, who you hear that, if you're a Republican and you saw, like, you were unhappy with what Obama did, you don't want to hear that again. You're not going to be like, I want to hear that
or
again.
even if you're a Democrat or you're an independent and you hear that.
You don't want to hear that. So actually...
I mean, any sane... Well, I don't want to say any sane person, but if you're truly, like if you really think about it, you kind of still should have voted for her anyways. Because Trump's a charlatan. Yeah. And that's the nicest thing to call him. He's many things. Yeah. A charlatan being one, a liar. But, like, I don't know. I mean, still, you have to give people hope. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's easy to say that now. But, I mean, back then, people were saying it too.
Yeah, but this shows that a lot of people are starting to, switch, or starting to switch.
I think so long as you give people something to vote for, they'll normally be on the Democratic side.
That's why it needs to be 2020. There needs to be a good Democratic candidate.
Yeah.
It can't be someone who just campaigns saying this guy sucks and that's it. You can't. That can't be your campaign. You
Yeah.
have to have someone who is almost. I want to say it. I really want to say it like this. Almost as like, what's the word I'm looking for? Boisterous as Trump. Honestly.
Well, they have to be honest, I think.
Yeah, they have to be as like, because when Trump's at his rallies, granted the shit he says isn't like doesn't make any sense.
But he probably believes that.
Yeah,
at that moment.
And know what? He gets the crowd. He gets the crowd. He gets the crowd with him. That's what a Democratic they need. They need someone like that who get the crowd on their side.
And if you look at the people who won compared to the people who lost, you know, it's the ones that are like the establishment politicians lost, especially in the Senate. We lost Democrats already lost the Senate, but now they lost it even more.
Yeah.
And if you look at the people who lost, Heidi Heitkamp, Claire McCaskill, they're the ones who, you know, are kind of beholden to their donors. They're the ones that get a lot of the corporate money and don't deliver. So, of course, you know, they're basically the ones who are dishonest, who say one thing, but they never deliver because that would go against their donors. And they're the ones that lost. And the ones that won... Normally,
we're new people.
Yeah,
it was the new
in many
blood.
cases they were new people. I mean, you had the first two Native American women.
The woman in Massachusetts was the first African American woman to. What was it? The girl in New York,
Ocasio-Cortez,
youngest person.
And then there was another one too who was the youngest as well.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what
she's like the second youngest.
I think that's what the Democrats need. They need new blood
who seem authentic.
That's why, honestly, I didn't vote for Feinstein.
I didn't vote for her either.
It's nothing against her. I mean, I think she's fine, but she's been there so long. I just think they need something new.
Well, okay, look at. I mean, so now Nancy Pelosi is probably going to be the House. The majority leader in the House. She's the Democrat. She is very similar to Dianne Feinstein, in that they get so much money from all these rich people. I mean, Dianne Feinstein, she's the senator in California, so she was up for re-election. I didn't vote for her either. No, I voted for the other Democrat. Yeah. But I mean, between her and her husband, they're billionaires. Like, he bought her a herd of bison for her birthday. Like, I know.
Oh, that's a great gift, man. That's going to be on my Christmas list.
Of all the things rich people can do with their money, like, I would totally buy a herd of bison. But at the same time,
herd bison.
But at the same time, like the imagery of that to like the normal, like how can you make the argument that you know what the normal average person wants if for your birthday your husband bought you a herd of bison? I mean, that's just one thing that I'm nitpicking at. But, like, if you look at her voting record, it's very conservative. It's very corporate friendly.
And see, I think the reason why she won is because people here...
It's name recognition.
Yeah, it's name recognition. They knew. They didn't trust De Leon, but the thing is...
But they didn't know who he was.
That too, yeah. But I'm just saying, we need more new blood. We need new blood. See, that's why it's fucking going great that Gavin is just dominating.
Yeah.
Like, he just, annihilated. I mean, of course, we all knew he was going to win. I didn't think Cox was going to just, drop out, that quickly. But see, that's the thing that I was telling you this. I was telling John this. I was saying Gavin 2024. Because I know if we don't win the next election, I guarantee, and you guys heard it here first, guarantee Gavin's running 2024. They're going to push him to run if they don't win the 2020. Or 2020.
Probably. I mean,
they're gonna push him to run.
First off, I think in 2020 you're gonna see 20-something candidates on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
If I had to take a guess.
Okay, if you could guess, let's say 3.
Okay, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's one for sure.
It's either Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren.
I'm gonna say Warren.
I'm gonna say Sanders.
I'm saying Warren on that.
I'm gonna say Sanders, even though he's old, but I think he's probably the more sure bet between the two of them.
But did he just win? He just won in Vermont, though.
Yeah, and.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought he was just gonna stay and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna be senator here in Vermont.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna be. I mean, I think he wants a job until he has to. He's got to stay there for 2 more years. He can't just drop out. But I think he would probably have the best chance. I think he knows it. I think that he knows that he has an obligation to the American people. I think he thinks that he owes the American people something. I think he thinks he was cheated out of the last time, which quite honestly he was. everything that came out
Yeah.
about the primaries, the Democratic primaries. But I think he knows it, and I think he'll do it.
Well,
whether he truly wants to or not, and it might just be one term, and then maybe whoever his vice president is will go in after him. But I think he's the best bet.
Yeah,
and I say that as a socialist.
Well, I'm always saying Warren because I think, one, she's a strong female who's someone that's completely different from Hillary. She's like, a big feminist. She has similar beliefs to Bernie. She's not as like socialist as he is.
I would say that she wants to fix capitalism, and I think in the long run, Bernie Sanders probably thinks that capitalism should go away, even if he can't. He probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You can't just get rid of capitalism. Yeah. It's the way the entire economy of the world works. But I would say that those are probably their views.
Okay. And the third person. Who's the third person you think?
Bob Iger, the guy who runs Disney. I swear to God, he's talking about running.
Oh God, I'm thinking it's Booker.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Cory Booker for sure.
He's totally running. I hate that guy.
It's gonna be Booker.
Okay. I don't hate him, but he's so fake.
Yeah, it's definitely Cory. It's gonna be Cory, Kamala, Bernie. I'm gonna throw in Warren as a fourth person, as a fifth. I know they're saying either the guy from Connecticut, Chris Murphy.
Oh, is he?
Or some people, the Democrats want him, but because I think he's kind of like, again, like Obama or old Democrats. He's very established. And then other people are saying Christine Gillibrand.
Is it Christine Gillibrand?
Gillibrand, yeah, from...
yeah, she's a shark.
New York. Yeah.
She's actually very politically savvy. Like during she said all sorts of stuff about Bernie during the election because she was for Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And like she lied and said like, oh, Bernie supporters threw chairs at me and I was scared for my life. And then there's video of her just smiling and walking calmly. Anyways, but when Clinton lost, she was one of the first people to turn on Clinton and start going like, oh yeah, now I'm for Medicare for all. So she's smart. I'll give her that.
She's a snake, but she's a smart snake.
Yeah, which I wish more, quite frankly, more politicians were.
A snake,
that they would. Yeah. So long as I don't know if they mean it, but I would like the lip service.
Well, also, I mean, speaking of primaries too, the one that really surprised me a lot though was Texas.
What?
That Cruz won.
Yeah, that was...
Because O'Rourke, I swore I thought was going to win that with all this shit that was happening. And if that would... Could you imagine that would have happened?
Well, I mean, he got closer than anyone.
Yeah, but could you imagine if he would have won?
Oh, it would have been...
That would have just... I actually think Trump would have lost his mind. Because then he
would have lost... he's losing his mind right now.
Yeah, but if he would have lost Texas...
Yeah.
You're losing your biggest state supporter? I mean, dude, he would lose it. He would lose it. That would be so...
They're not still counting, are they?
No. Florida's the one that's still counting.
Oh, yeah.
And see, that's a big one. Well, Florida flip-flops, though. They go blue and red.
Yeah, but the thing is that if it's a Republican, then they're going to throw people off the voter rolls and stuff. I mean, like they did this time. I mean, they threw so many people.
Well, the thing in Georgia...
Yeah.
You see videos of that in Georgia, like the power was going out.
Yeah.
I did air quotes, by the way. I know people can't see me. But
yeah. I mean, they did... I mean, that's the thing about Republicans. They fucking cheat. I mean, in Kansas... There's one city that's majority Latino, and in the past 10 years, its Hispanic population just skyrocketed. It's called Dodge City, Kansas. And the Republicans, because they control the state, took the one polling place. Well, first off, you're supposed to have a certain number of polling places per number, like X amount of the population. Mm-hmm. So if you did the math, Dodge City should have had like 2 or 3. They cut it down to 1, and then they thought, oh, well, people still might go vote. And so they got it and moved it 1 mile outside of the city. And this was a predominantly Hispanic city. It was full of working class, like poor people, so they couldn't really go somewhere during the day. And they moved it an hour outside the city just to try to keep them from voting. And then in North Dakota, they threw a bunch of Native Americans and college students off the voter rolls. And then Heidi Heitkamp, who was the senator, the Democratic senator, lost. I mean, she was probably going to lose anyways, but she lost by a larger amount, probably because the majority of the people that elected her were thrown off the voter rolls. And then, of course, in Georgia and Florida, they threw African Americans off.
Yeah.
And Latinos. And
Florida's still in the recount, so hopefully that turns out.
Hopefully
that turns out for the
Democratic.
brother. I forget what his name was running.
Andrew Gillum.
Andrew Gillum, yeah, that's it.
Hopefully
it turns out.
God, I wish. And they're still counting in Georgia.
Yeah, and then you hear about the bullshit in Nevada.
What?
The guy who won a Senate seat there, who's dead.
Yeah.
Beat out a Democrat.
Well, I mean, 2 Republicans have won House seats who are about to go to jail. Who have been indicted.
Who is it?
There's one here in California who.
Oh, that's the dude from like Sandy. Isn't he near San Diego?
Yeah, he's down there. He's in San Diego.
He did some type of bank thing, right? Or,
Not only that,
he used money to.
He used campaign money to fly the pet rabbit in first class.
Yeah, I think
to Washington.
I remember hearing about that because.
And then threw his wife under the bus in his.
Wow,
he said it was all my wife, and then quickly recanted that. Probably when she told him she'd never have sex with him again or whatever. But
I remember hearing about that because the Democratic guy who was running there was hoping to get a good chance because of that happened. Obviously, didn't happen, but
I know because San Diego's fucking weird and conservative.
Yeah, but what we're talking about. But with Texas, though, the one thing that also surprised me, which I swore would have made a difference, was the Latino vote that happened there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 39% Latino men voted for Cruz, and 34 Latino women voted for that. Compare that to the black vote. Black women was 95-5.
Yeah.
And 89. It was 89-11.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, Jesus. Jesus Christ. I was so the thing is and people say all the time, Latinos they can't change the election. I don't understand why. As us being Latino too, there should be more of us getting on other Latinos' case, saying what's going on.
The thing is, look at what happened in Kansas. I mean, they moved the polling place not literally outside of the city. I mean, a lot of Latinos are poorer than others, and it's hard for poor people to vote, and if you're in a Republican state, there's a chance that you've gotten thrown off the ballots, or they've done something to make sure that you don't vote. But if you do, you can do the math, and if all Latinos came out to vote, just like if all young kids, not young kids, but young people, between the ages of 18 and 30, if all of one of those groups, Latinos or young people, came out to vote, the Republican Party would be wiped out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're not, for various reasons. I mean, it's always been that young people don't vote. They just don't care. They don't understand. Whatever. It's hard for them. Sometimes they get, in North Dakota, they get thrown off the voter rolls. Mm-hmm. They get disenfranchised.
But you do see what I'm saying, though, Texas, though. If that percent would have changed to maybe an 80-20, O'Rourke would have won.
Yeah. But, I mean, also some Latinos are conservative, quite frankly. I mean, Cubans, for example, are very conservative.
Many Cuban people are listening to this. We're not saying all of you, but...
Yeah, this is a generalization. Yeah. But if there's one Latino group, and you can do this by polling, so that's how we know this. No, it's not just anecdotal. But if there's one group that...
It's not like I just hate Cuban people. I'm choosing them over anyone.
But, Cubans tend to be more conservative. Yeah. And that's because the majority... that's because the majority of the Cubans in the country fled the Castro. They fled the left.
And that's what I saw people saying on, posts, or saying, why is it like this? And people were saying a lot of these people fled countries that were like this. Yeah. They don't want to see that again.
It was just Cuba.
I know, but I don't know. I was just surprised though because all the social media I saw, no one was really mentioning that. Mm. Everyone was just mentioning, of course, the white vote. Which look, you're not surprised. You know it's going to go conservative. You know it is. But I saw barely anyone mention the Latino vote. I'm like, that's a big issue too. You gotta admit that's you look at the numbers. It was a 70-20 for white women for Cruz, which Yes, that's a lot, but you all fucking know the white vote's going to go to Cruz. I mean, that's not surprising. If it was like 80-20 Latino, the O'Rourke would have won.
Yeah.
And that would have put a huge hole in Trump's, campaign and his whole group. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how to reach.
Well, that's what even during Trump's election, he got like 30% Latino vote, which is a lot more than what people thought he would get. People thought he would get like none.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're not self-hating Latinos, but they're people who like maybe are poor and don't want other poor Latinos to come into the country and compete with them, or they might be, the conservative portion of like maybe because Latinos are and again a generalization, but they're normally quite religious, and sometimes what goes with that is conservative values. So you end up, California, for example, when it voted on gay marriage the first time, it got struck down because, and that was they got the black community, the black religious community, to come out against it, and so.
Our school was against it. Remember in middle school when we were there?
Oh, well, that's because we went to a Catholic.
But there were all signs that said yes on Prop A and stuff like that.
Oh, we should have tore those down.
But we weren't thinking at the time. I mean,
that's true.
We were 13 and 12, so we're not very political at the time. Also, too, remember when we were in middle school too, social media was barely getting started.
Yeah.
See, now kids nowadays who are preteens are now more aware.
Yeah, they watch Glee and they're like, gay people are okay.
Yeah.
Low key though,
that
maybe,
does happen. But
that's what happened to our generation.
Yeah, but think about when we were in middle school, it was just MySpace and then Facebook was just really getting its start. So and Facebook at that time wasn't as huge as it was now, where it's basically a media outlet.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So back then we were more misinformed.
Do you ever know Facebook is now a media outlet for old people because they use it?
I mean, honestly, as much as I think Facebook is creepy, and I think Zuckerberg is kind of creepy. I don't think he's human; he's a robot. But
well, without that,
I give him so much credit though for making that site.
Oh well, yeah, no,
I'm not be able to do all that.
Oh no! Look, I'm not. Look, credit where credit is due. I could never do that. I could never even imagine that. So kudos on him.
Yeah.
To
think of something like I mean, I wonder if he ever just thought did I think I was going to get this far with this site? Was it going to get this big? I don't think he did. I think he just surprised him and just boomed. Anyway, we're getting off topic. We're talking about social media and shit. Yeah, also, okay, the other topic to talk about was a shooting that happened yesterday.
Oh,
that sucks. I mean, most people who are listening to this live in California or, live in and they can hear this, but, there was a shooting yesterday. 12 people died. 13 if you count the person who shot at the place. 13 died. One was a police officer, first responder. Other people were just people at a bar during a country college night, and then the guy turned a gun on himself and shot himself. So that could bring up a gun issue. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's not I mean, just last week there was, I don't know the political views of the guy who shot it. Up in Thousand Oaks. That just happened. Yeah, that just happened yesterday. Right, but last week, was it last week? The guy who shot the guy who shot the synagogue in Pittsburgh. Not only that, there was the incel who shot the right wing incel, which stands for involuntarily celibate. Mm-hmm. Who went into a yoga.
Basically, I can't get laid.
Yeah, basically. Not to be confused with the volcel, someone who's voluntarily celibate. I know. Anyways,
okay.
Oh,
sure.
Quick. I know we're in a very heavy topic, but if you think about it, what's Ex Machina, that movie? Mm-hmm. Caleb is the incel, and then the other guy is the volcel.
Okay, I haven't really seen Ex Machina. I've seen bits and parts of it.
Okay.
I know Caleb is that Don Gleason's character? Okay.
He's the guy who can't get laid.
Yeah, who makes Ava.
Yeah, and then the other guy is doesn't get laid, but he does it voluntarily. Because he can get laid because he's a billionaire, but he doesn't because he's... And you can even take that back to the Civil War. Because all those southern Southern people who were in the Southern Confederate government, not the generals, the people who were in the government were also incels.
So what you're saying is,
And the guys who were on the Union side who were in government were volcels.
So what you're saying is Southerners can't get laid.
Back then, yeah.
So we should be going to Alabama. We could get laid, right?
No.
Damn it. All right. Anyway, what am I saying? I have a girlfriend. I don't even know why I'm saying.
Anyways, so yeah, he went in a yoga studio, shot.
Oh, that was the guy in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also,
then,
that was the guy in Santa Barbara. Was like that.
Yeah, the guy who ran.
Yeah. Who shot the Santa Barbara? Who I think it was the community college or somewhere near the community college. That guy too.
And also, a guy shot 2 black people
in Kentucky.
Yeah.
They tried it as a hate crime. I don't know if they actually. I don't know what happened at the end of
it.
It
was a hate crime,
okay,
and he basically told the security guard, and he walked past tons of white people, and he's like, "I'm not going to shoot you because you're white." And all these are right wingers. I don't know about the Thousand Oaks guy, so let's keep him out of this part of the conversation.
The only left wing thing I've heard of a shooting was the guy
who shot the senator.
Or
the congressperson.
Yeah, who was a crazy left wing person.
Yeah.
Who did
and other than that, but it's almost always been right wingers. And it's always right wing terrorism. I mean, it definitely is, because they're doing it for political reasons, which is like the definition of terrorism.
Yeah.
They state it, they post it, they write little manifestos.
Like the guy who dropped off the bomb was a white wing. That's a terrorist.
Oh yeah, the bombings. Yeah, or the attempted bombings.
That's he wasn't even white actually. He was Latino, I think. Cuban.
If I had to guess,
your point. Oh my God, Charlie's boy.
Okay, I don't know if he's Cuban or not, but he was from Florida. He was Latino. He was Cuban.
He's Fidel Castro.
Yeah, he was no wrong Cubans. He was a right winger.
Tony Montana.
Sure, I don't know who that is.
Scarface.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna name any famous Cuban. What's his name? Ricky Ricardo.
Oh yeah, totally. It was totally him.
Okay, thank you. I knew it.
I'm so surprised that people if you think about it, that was like an interracial relationship. Like.
Oh yeah, no, but
Cuban and.
Oh yeah, and I saw they had interviews back then. And she got a lot of shit for it.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah, Lucille Ball got a lot of shit for having that.
I was wondering. I would imagine so. I was like, I can't believe they never got shit for this.
That's why I saw when they made I Love Lucy, it was under their own company. If I remember something like that. But she didn't get shit for it. She got shit for having a mixed race relationship, but she didn't care. I mean, she obviously she was already well off enough to where it didn't matter.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Anyway, when it comes to we went off topic so much.
Yeah, no.
But when it comes off to like gun control and all that, personally, you know what? At this rate, I'm saying I want to tell Trump basically just do something.
But he's not gonna do anything.
See, that's the thing.
But you don't pay him.
But like all these people, even on both sides, just do something. But talk about it's a mental issue, then open
first off
institutions. Or if
that would cost money, and you don't understand. You have to pay for your health care, okay? This isn't Medicare for all. The government doesn't provide. Like, if you want health care, if you want someone to take care of these people have to earn it. They have to work, Alec.
Okay, you know what? Then make state law. You know what? Make every state open carry. Why not?
Because
let's just
they would totally do that. They would totally want to do that.
Okay, then know what? But he talks out of his ass. He says he wants to do this. All guys should have a gun. And fucking just do something.
Well, all you have to do to get Trump to kind of say what you want is be in a room with him, and then he'll repeat everything you say. Yeah. I mean, if he goes to Saudi Arabia, he does a sword dance, and suddenly instead of saying like Saudis did 9/11, which he kind of implied during his thing, which let's be honest, they kind of did. Yeah. But since the majority of the hijackers were Saudi and were actually funded
Saudi people.
Yeah, all the Saudis that we know. But Saudi people from Saudi royalty funded the hijackers and stuff. Anyways, and this isn't a conspiracy theory, it's actually true.
Yeah.
But
we already did that episode.
Yeah, we did that episode. But fuck, what was I saying? And then he goes to China, and suddenly, he believes that the Chinese way is the way to.
I don't know. I just want to know. Just do something. Okay, now here's a hypothetical question. If California became open carry, what do you think will happen? Do you see a problem with that actually happening?
Well, yeah, because I mean they've done studies on this. The more guns in a society, the more guns in a house, you know, the more likely something is to happen. The more likely someone is supposed to it will die. I mean, any house that has a gun in it, it drastically increases the chance that uh, someone will die in it from a gunshot wound, whether that's, you know, whipping it out when you think someone is breaking into your house and accidentally shooting someone or whatnot. But it also, uh, specifically, it increases the likelihood that a woman in the house will die.
And you know what? And see, you bring up a really good point. A lot of people would say, like, when they say, "Oh, open carry happens," you know, "Oh, they're going to be gun violence is going to go up," you know, gang-related shootings. And you know what? It probably won't, but you are right about the domestic part.
Yeah.
Suicide will probably go up.
Oh, absolutely. Accidental
shootings, domestic murder for domestic violence.
Yeah, crimes of passion.
That will go up.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the scary thing. What will happen?
Absolutely, and all this is backed up by data. I mean, it's been shown that this actually does happen.
That's a good point.
You know, the thing about like the NRA is that they're more than willing to have like they people have proposed like, oh, like people convicted of domestic violence aren't allowed to own guns. They should be put on the registry and banned from ever owning a gun. Which they should, but that's not what the NRA is for. The NRA isn't even for banning people who are on the terrorist watch list from owning guns. I mean, even the Trump administration got rid of that. So under the Trump administration, someone who is on the terrorist watch list can own a gun. Not only that, someone who is mentally incapable of cashing their own checks, they have to have someone else handle their money for them because they're that mentally incapable of dealing with it. They can own a gun. That restriction was taken away under Trump. So he's not ever going to do anything. And Republicans will never do anything because you know who funds them? NRA. And the NRA isn't for gun. It's basically the gun manufacturer lobby. That's who it's for.
And see what's just
it's not even. I mean, even NRA members, like 50% of them want some form of gun control. But that's not the NRA's.
No, it's sad though because
position.
Because they say they always, when you talk to anyone who's on the right, and you say if they only had a gun, it would be safe. But then they just don't say anything else. They just say they'll talk about what you talk about. Well, okay, well, we do have gun control, or let's say we just have open carry. All that stuff that we talked about, the domestic will go up.
Yeah,
you are preventing a mass shooting, which is 100% better, or 100%, which is good to do.
Most likely, you're not even going to do that. I mean, there are many cases where either, you know, something has happened and there was someone who had a gun there and they pulled it and they were shot themselves because the maniac who came in to shoot everyone else was better trained than they were, or the cops shot them because they thought they were the guy who was shooting up the place. So even if you have a good guy with a gun, I mean, that's just a myth, really. I mean, the times that it's actually happened are very slim. And, like, even people who, like, there have been people in, like, I forgot which mass shooting it was. Like, it was a while ago. We must have been in high school, so that must have been over 10. No, not over 10.
We're not that old yet.
Over
5
or 6 years ago. So half of 10.
We're not that fucking old yet.
But this guy, I think it was at some sort of theater shooting or something.
Oh, they were.
It might not have been that one. It might have been.
It wasn't the Batman, the guy who shot up.
Maybe it was a college one. Okay, I don't remember. But it was one. The guy had a gun and he didn't pull it out, and his reasoning was, the cops were all around, and he didn't know if they would shoot. If he would then get in a firefight with the guy who was shooting up the place and get everyone else, even more people killed. Because these guys, you know, it's not like they're trained soldiers.
No.
You know, these people with a gun, you don't need to have any training to own a gun. You don't have to be proficient in it. Nothing. And most likely, you're going to shoot other people around you.
See, and that's a big thing, too. We could talk about people who have open carry guns, and you could train as much as you want. But, and of course, military people tell you this, too. You'll see, though, what happens real when the shit goes down. You'll see the real person come out.
You probably shoot yourself.
That's what I'm saying. You could like do all that saying I go to the shooting range and I shoot targets and all that. But if you actually get in the shit when something goes down, are you mentally prepared for enough to do something like that?
And most likely no.
No,
most likely
aren't.
you're not.
Yeah.
I mean,
most people aren't because they don't know they're in the moment. It happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think. Wow, we actually hit 40 minutes. Perfect. Well, I think we can wrap it up, right? Unless you got anything else to add.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, this is a good episode. We'll definitely do a part 2 once John comes back.
Yeah.
We'll do a part 2. We can talk about more shit. He'll bring up something about the history of this president from this era and this president from this country and this president from that country. All that shit. Yeah. I think it was a good episode. I like it. So I think we're gonna end the episode here. If you haven't already, if you're still listening to this, subscribe, like it, comment, spread the word a little bit. We'll, spread the word more. We don't have an Instagram or anything. We don't have any social media, but we're just starting off. But yeah, subscribe to Not So Rory 20s. Do you have under podcast or just Not So Rory 20s?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think it might be podcast.
Subscribe to Not So Rory 20s, and we will come out with a new episode whenever we feel like it.
We're gonna try every 2 weeks.
Yeah, at least every 2 weeks we'll try. Anyway, I'm Alec.
Oh, and I'm Johnny.
And do you want something to add?
Maybe like smaller 15-minute ones every so often.
Yeah, we could.
We'll intersperse those in there.
We will, by the way. No, we will. Later on. All right, but okay, we'll do this again. I'm Alec.
I'm Johnny.
And this is the end of episode 6 of Not So Rory 20s podcast.
Yeah.